Welcome back to Rowrah in Cumbria for the Stevenage Sheet Metals Super 1 British Karting Championships. In recent years, karting at this MSA level, that's events controlled by rules and regulations designated by the Motorsport Association in the UK, have seen declining numbers in favour of events outside the auspices of the MSA. Earlier, I caught up with a karting dad in the paddock who's experienced karting at both levels and asked him about the differences.
Basically, the non-MSA, we started there when Lucas was 7. Non-MSA really is a real fun sport, very low cost. You can compete very competitively on a low budget at many tracks around the country and do very well. Good grids, real family sport, and it's a good entry into karting, especially for youngsters. It's an excellent way to get into karting at the entry level at 7 years of age. The downside is, as you progress and get further up in non-MSA, there's very little scrutineering involved. So then you start to have the problems then of things not being scrutineered and sealed engines, etc. That's the downside of it.
So you're coming into MSA karting then. How have you found it different? In what way is it different?
MSA karting is much tighter controlled. Obviously the karts are weighed, the engines are sealed, there's a lot more policing involved. The actual marshalling, the clerking is actually where it should be. It's excellent from that stance, and it's the way to go forward to get into the nationals. So it's the next progression into the national events to go MSA racing.
What's the negative side then? Because I know you've got some concerns, haven't you?
I think the negative for me is that it's becoming a professional sport. For an amateur level, for children up to 16 years of age, it's very much becoming a professional sport, where for the average family, it's becoming very, very difficult to compete, even MSA events, not national events, because a lot of the national drivers do compete at MSA events for practice in the winter, etc. So even in a club event, you'll still have all the professional teams competing, and it's very difficult to compete against these people.
And what would you like to see moving forward? I know you were talking about pooled engines, but John Hoyle tried that this year, just didn't get the support. Why don't you think there was the support there for the pooled engines, which I know from speaking to you earlier, you're really in favour of, aren't you?
I think the only way this karting will survive, personally, and the numbers will dwindle because the cost of it is escalating year on year. And the only way to bring it back to basics and get it back on the right track is to have a pooled engine class at national level. Because that way everybody is on the same playing field, the entry fees are the same. You can still have the teams involved. I'm not against the teams because that's where you get the support and the advice. But in terms of the power that drives the karts, it puts everybody on a very level playing field, and I think that would make the sport a much better place long term.
So you're talking about getting rid of everything other than pooled engines at national level?
Absolutely, yeah.
Now I have to say, I agree with Mark, but with the problems we had this year trying to get pooled engines off the ground, I know what Mark's saying, don't have anything other than pooled engines, they haven't got a choice, but I just don't see it happening, Jake.
It is a tricky issue, isn't it? Let's go to the grid then for the cadets. Miles Apps and Cian Dewis on the front row, with Harry Thompson and Mark Kimber on row 2, ahead of Oliver Clark in P5. 30 drivers on the grid for this one, and it's sure to be an interesting start. Dewis and Apps on the front row, and I have a feeling this could go all the way to the checkered flag. A little bit of jumping.
Yeah, a few drivers trying to jump the start, but they did stop and got going again. And once again, looks like they're all going to get through this first turn, are they?
It's a great new system, this standing start. It definitely works. There's a little bit of jostling, but there's nowhere near the kind of chaos we used to have in the past. So it's great work and a good decision. Miles Apps is the man who's got away in the lead. We've got a spinner in the pack.
It's Alex Lloyd. That's Alex Lloyd. He's been straightened up, and that's probably helped him out because he's got back running again, the 85 car.
That's Archie Swinsko who got spun off at McRae's there as well. So a couple of drivers. Oh, Cian Dewis has got into the lead then. So he's obviously done that off the exit of Iredale. Oh, the 48 getting pushed wide onto the grass. And we're on board with Harry Thompson, the rookie, trying to muscle his way through. And that's Apps in front of him. So it looks like Apps is down to 3rd position. Thompson is there in 4th place. And it's the 5 car. It's Mark Kimber, who's now on the tail of Cian Dewis, the man who's trying to do, well, it's not necessarily the impossible, but it's certainly a tall order. But if anyone can, Dewis can.
Yeah, if anyone can, Cian can. And I just want to mention Harry Thompson, a rookie. That's Mark Kimber's information with the BRK team, the 2013 Wilton Mill Club champion, Mark. Just want to mention Harry Thompson here, Jake, the 17 kart. He's another driver, as we see him losing a spot, but he's another driver, rookie to the championship, like Hoggard in Minimax earlier, who's impressed me greatly this weekend. We're on board here with Harry Thompson. We just see Thomas Pegram making up a place.
And Thompson went with him.
Yeah, Thompson's gone through with him.
And this is the is the track looking a little bit greasy? I wonder if there's been is there a bit of rain in the air? That could make things interesting, of course, because it's certainly looking like the track is a little bit damper than it was earlier on. I wonder if there's changeable conditions here at Rowrah. That can really spice things up at the best of times.
Cian Jewis out front. I can tell you, Jake, Cian Jewis running into this championship, I was told by a few people, Cian Jewis is struggling, he's definitely not going to win this year. Now I found out he'd switched to Strawberry Racing. Now that shocked me, I've got to be honest. Strawberry don't have a history of running anything in Honda Cadet. And in fact, we've got Fusion Motorsport running Honda Cadets this weekend for the first time as well. But at the end of the day, I've said this before, I say it again, when it comes to sports psychology, winners find a way to get the job done. As we see Jewis losing a spot to Kimber and the 31
is Kimber about to lose the lead to the 31? Yes, this is a brilliant run from Pegram, and Thompson is right on his tail as well. No, in fact, Kimber shuts the door, but that's left the move open for Thompson to move through at the stewardesses. So up to second place goes Thompson. This is a great shuffle, and well, let's look at how many karts are in the pack. The first four have got about 3 kart lengths on the rest, so it's still anybody's game. This could go anybody's way.
Here's Harry Thompson's information from Harlow in Essex with CER this season. It's his rookie season. I was saying about Cian Jewis, Jake, just talking about a little bit about sports psychology. Winners find a way to get the job done. Cian Jewis has had all sorts of issues this weekend. Didn't have the best time qualifying, for example, but when it's come down to it, he finds a way to win. As we see another change for the lead. That's Thompson through the lead, and Jewis goes through.
Yeah, Thompson, Jewis and Apps all make their way through into the position. Oh, that was a bit of a late lunge for Jewis to try and make the move on Thompson, and Thompson looks back as if to say, what do you think you're playing at, mate?
Yeah, the 7 kart runs wide. That's Tom Canning coming out of the turn, but no damage done. More places being made up now down into the stewardesses.
Yeah, it looks like the 5 of Kimber's now down to 4th place. Who's that's come through? I think that's Oliver Clark in the 62.
Here's the race highlights. There were so many changes in this one. This was Pinsent running wide and not off through the left-hander at Sunny Bend. Later in the race, the move from 3rd to 2nd spot.
Yep, that's Apps making the move on Jewis to get into 2nd position behind Harry Thompson, the new man in front, and a lot of jostling in the mid-pack.
Yep. Here's another change for the lead. This is Apps going through to the lead on Thompson. Thompson had the lead. Apps slides through at the stewardesses. Later in the race again, another lead change. This is Jewis going back past Miles Apps, and Thompson goes with him. Runs Apps over the curb. Nothing wrong with that.
Pinson going wide again. Pinson going wide again.
Second time.
He's finding all sorts of places to spin.
Here's Riley Banks, the 55 kart. He spins coming onto Paddock Bend. So plenty of action throughout this race. Here's another lead change later in the race.
Yeah, this is Apps making the move for the lead again, and Jewis almost got pushed
being run wide over the curb as well.
So the battle really is raging then, and this is Clark going wide. Let's have a look at this. Just
Clark
goes a little bit too wide and finds all the curb and a bit more.
The curb, loses a couple of places.
And then, of course, this is the battle for 2nd position, continuing to heat up as Jewis gets himself back into the action. Up to 2nd place he goes. And, well, the pendulum just keeps swinging in this race.
And here's another lead change. It's Jewis back past Apps for the lead. Thompson looking for a move from 4th to 3rd, but couldn't get that done. Here's an incident with Keaton Samra.
Well, this is Keaton Samra. Samra's got himself.
End.
That's it. Samra got himself right up in the battle for the lead, but Samra he was just the man in the middle, nowhere to go, and he ended up getting pirouetted around. And we're back on the last lap. Have a look at this. We've got a great battle for 3rd place.
Thompson runs wide.
Yeah, Thompson runs wide. Apps trying to hold him off, and he's looking at him as if to say, don't you dare try and get past me now, matey. I'll just get you on the undercut, and that's exactly what he does.
Kimber with the fastest lap, 55.22.
And Cian Jewis, he looks back. Look, he knows he's got a bit of space now. He can just own the rest of this race now. He's got about 5 kart lengths or so on the rest, and that's going to be enough to give him this victory here.
Yeah, I mean, and as I was saying earlier, I didn't really finish what I was saying. Winners always find a way to get the job done. As we see, Jensen Butterfield has made up 16 places. He's the big mover. Winners find a way to get the job done. Losers will come up with excuses as to why they've had a bad day. But Cian Jewis, he is a winner.
Yeah.
And takes the win this time.
Oh, a bit of a tussle on the finish line. 3 wide. That could have ended very nasty. But a brilliant job from Cian Jewis on the whole.
Harry, your rookie season in Super 1 and no better way to start with a podium. Just talk us through the race from your point of view.
Well, I started third and I tried to get up to the lead, and I just felt like sitting in second, try to push Kian away. Didn't really work, so I went for the lead. Kian started pushing me around for like 4 laps. Then Miles caught up, and then Kian and Miles went past me, and then I went back to third.
We didn't get off to the best start. The rain started coming down a little bit, and the track was a little bit slippery, but yeah, I dropped back, got back through, and on the second to last lap, I didn't cover it. Kian took me, and then basically Harry followed through, and I got him back on the last lap.
I didn't get off to the best starts. I struggled getting off the line. It was a bit like swapping in between the race, lost a few places, but ended up getting them back. 2 laps towards the end, I got in the lead, overtook Miles, and then just defended from there, come round out of the bottom hairpin with a gap, so I just kept looking forward, got the gap, and then just finished across the finish line first. So.
And are you doing the whole season this year?
Yeah, we're going to try and do it for like the whole season, but I'd like to thank Paul Spencer and Warwick at Strawberry, and my mum and dad for bringing me everywhere, my family and friends for supporting me, and my sponsors, Academy Leasing.
So those back-to-back championships looking good for the moment for Kian Jewis. 3 points clear of Miles Apps. The battle really is on. Harry Thompson, third place, a brilliant run from the rookie, with Mark Kimber, Thomas Pegram and Oliver Clark all still a factor in the early stages of the season. Coming up next, it's the Rotax Max final to finish the day here at Rowrah.